Hello everyone. Hola a todos. Here we are again. Welcome to today's live. So today I think that can you hear me well? ¿Podéis oírme bien? Everything is working fine. Today we have music, so hope that it's not too loud. I'm gonna try to don't put it too loud and don't sound very saturated. Thanks, Miranda. Yeah, thanks to everyone who is on the chat already now. So let's see what we can do today, how far we can go with this design. We started past week. Remember that I started this relief. Today I hope leave it almost finish it. Almost, I'm gonna try to leave it finish it, or at least as much as possible, because for the next class I prefer to work only about the rendering. So let's try to make a cool render, trying to replicate the same render done on the reference, this one. Try to give it some all aged or oxidized kind of silver finishing or something. Let's see what we can achieve, and let's try to learn something about how to render this kind of reliefs inside of Keyshot. But today let's be focusing on try to leave it as more finished as possible. Let's see, and let's go. If you have any questions during the live related to what I'm doing, or any other kind of questions or suggestions for next lives, so leave your comments on YouTube, and I'm gonna go try to read as much as I can. Okay, welcome to everyone. Welcome. So let's go ahead. For today I'm going to use this application. I guess that all of you already know it. It is called PureRef, where I can drop as many images as I want. I can stack all of them here. I can move it. Now I am using my mouse. I am using the wheel, the center button on the mouse. I can zoom in or zoom out on the images using the wheel of the mouse wheel, or double clicking on the image. I can center it on the screen. On the floating screen is quite useful, because we can stack more than one image if we have a collection of different references or images, so we can navigate inside of this little canvas we have here with the central button of the mouse, and we can use the wheel on double clicking, as I said before, to zoom in or zoom out of the images. So I noticed one thing, that I did something wrong on the previous day, because I was using an image. Let's see, I'm gonna try to open the original. This is the original, right? This is the original, and you can see here that the original picture was took as a real picture with a mobile or with a camera, and you can see it has a little of deformation. It is not completely straight. It is not a real front view. You can see here that this is not front. It's more something like this. When you are taking a picture, it's quite difficult to take a 100% front picture. In this case, it's a little bit deformed. So what I did was I opened into Photoshop and I fixed it. So trying to fix the wrong perspective, because I was following the past week a wrong image, because it was a little bit deformed due to the perspective. So for today, what I'm gonna do first, if I open open here my left tray. If I go to my draw menu, if I open the file, the ZGrid file, you can see that when you are saving floor files or grid files, ZBrush is saving ZGrid files, and this is what I get, what we did on past week. Fill mode to 3, and this is my personal settings. Enhance factor to 1, and enhance opacity, maybe we can leave it here almost more or less in the middle. And now what I'm gonna do is to change this image that I say is wrong because due to the deformation of the picture with the other one that I fix it. So coming back here, and let's import. The new one is this one. Let's close this, and you can see now that the lines are doesn't match the same as before, of course, because now I'm using another picture. So we can say this is the original picture, and this is where I am. Here, for example, I have an issue here, so I need to replace everything, put it on place with the right picture. Let's see, I'm gonna put the and let's see if I put it here. Let's try to remove. When we have something like this and I'm looking forward to start moving everything together, what I normally do is go into the Z plugin and use a very well-known plugin. It's called Transpose Master. With the Transpose Master, let's click on Transpose Master is gonna take all the subtool, it's gonna gather all of the subtool, convert it into one single subtool composed by different elements, and now I'm gonna be able to move everything at the same time. But I'm going to use the Move Infinity brush, the same brush I was using the other day. Remember that you're able to move with infinity depth. When I am touching something in front, I'm able to touch what it's behind the point that I am touching. This is a very useful one. You are working with reliefs. So, but I need an extra setting for now, so I'm gonna move this. But if I move one, you can notice that I am gonna be able to move everything, almost the back part. And now I don't want to move everything together like this. I would like to be able to move only the necessary piece. So for that, I have this button here, topological. I can add a topological behavior to any of the brushes, in this case to the Move Infinity brush. So let's click on topological, and now I'm gonna be able to move them individually. So let's put all of them in place. Let's click on here to make it this one a little bit bigger to see better what I'm doing, compare with the reference. Don't need to be crazy about, don't get crazy about to put things exactly where they are. So because we still need to do a lot of changes, but in terms of proportions, like, try to keep everything in place, to don't be making something different from the image. So let's work a little bit on the main here. The main ends here. This is the arm, and this is the main here, here and there, like here. Okay, I think everything is okay. Maybe what I can do is control click to mask only this piece, and will be more there. still need to put the tail, so it doesn't matter here at the end. So if we come back here to the settings, let's see. Let's see, put the music a little bit lower. Ooh. And now I think now it's okay. So we can come back to the, let's come back to, let's see, about the face, the main, because it has something like a crest, or I don't know how to say it in English, this part of the main. The ears are still missing, so okay, I think that by the moment it's okay. So we can come back to the plugin, transpose, and click to the other button. So ZBrush will send all the subtool to the original position. Okay. Put it here. Let's try to work to start adding some detail. For example, on the rear leg, I'm gonna use this mask lasso. I'm gonna mask this part. With the move brush, we're gonna create this. Control click, invert the mask, and I start making this kind of fold that has. Using this case lash is a brush that I love to use. The brushes from the Japanese guy SK, but I like to use, instead of the default alpha, I prefer to change it to the alpha 39. Because it leaves deeper ridges. So like this, trying to following everything here. For example, let's start working a little bit on the, let's reduce the lazy mouse because it's too long, so the delay is a little bit higher. Let's click on, don't forget to use the mask as a sculpting tool. So I think it's very handy. Just don't use just the mask for mask things or to protect things. So remember that you can use the mask, is a very powerful use for sculpting to create different shapes. The same with the SK cloth. I like to change for the alpha 39, the same, and here we have the stomach. Use here. When you're trying to translate the volume or trying to replicate the volume from a relief, as we were talking on past week, start watching the volumes of as different planes. For example, what I have here is something like you have this kind of this here. So this step will be this part, this step will be this part, and this step will be this part. So I am start building the different volumes as the different steps, almost with 90 degrees or even less or more, but start watching, observing the image and start creating your planes. And for this is very useful, this brush, the SK this case slash or the SK cloth, because with the alpha 39 you can see here in the alpha that what we are doing is something like let's grab this. The alpha it has something like this with a white point in the middle, so we are going to be able to start carving surfaces or wrinkles or ridges like this. This is the point, will be this point. So that's the reason why I prefer to switch from the default alpha to the alpha 39. So I start making lines, this, following with SK cloth, with here, here, here. The rib cage goes here, goes here, goes here. So I start just and with combined with the alpha, with the smooth peaks. So we'll be able to start smoothing the transitions between and with the smooth valleys we decide to start adding some material at the endings like this. Another SK brush, SK polish, to start polishing like this, to start getting the right planes. I'm going here. I'm gonna select this, the move brush. I'm gonna grab this lower part of the body. I'm working with Dynamesh, so Ctrl drag to update the Dynamesh, right? Clay build up to start, for example, but I can add a little of material here to start creating this kind of fold, that the skin fold that has here. You can see that when I'm using the smooth peaks, I have this part. If I smoothen this out like this, I am not destroying the sculpted detail I did before. So this the good thing about to be working with smooth peaks and smooth valleys, as I was explaining on the previous stream. I prefer to use the clay build-up without the alpha. So normally I turn the alpha off here. For example, about the leg, to start making the landmarks of the muscles, like here. Here I have the knee. The knee has something here like a plane. So, like this. This is about the lion and the polishing brushes should try to keep the planes. The planes are very important to match the reference. For example, let's work a little bit on the arm. You are noticing that I'm always using both SK lash for stronger lines or more defined lines. I like to use the SK slash, and for softer lines or for softer transitions I use the SK cloth. For example, right here, there, and start making your corners, the corners as I was explaining before. Let's try to defining the different planes. Let's make it bigger like this. Like this. Goes more here to the front. It's more perpendicular. So you can see when everything is in place, I can start polishing to start adding more defined planes. Control drag to rebuild the mesh. Maybe here for the cloud. When we are making a relief, as we are doing today, is as I said before, the move infinitive is perfect, because when you are working on a relief, always you are working on one view. When you are working on the 3D model, you are always rotating the model. You are working on the front view, you are working on the side view, on the profile, on the back side. But when you are making reliefs, the most important view is the front view. So most of the time, we can say 90% of the time, you are working only on the side view, on the front view, I'm sorry. Then that's why it's so important to use the move infinitive, because I am touching this part, but I am touching what is behind. So we're gonna start matching better this slash to put this cloth. Sometimes you need to rotate it, of course, but most of the time you are doing, always you are working on the front view. Adding material, now I'm working the clay build up to start to adding material, or to add some volume when I need more volume, like this, like this. And this is, now we have the almost the leg. So the next step is with smooth peaks to start going from here. This is what we have here. We have a plane here. Start making the smooth transitions between the different planes. And what I like to do is, if I have a border, an edge, for example, which comes from here to here, defining this muscle of the leg, what I like to do is always don't try to start smoothing everything. To start smoothing, I'm going from here to here all the way through. So I prefer to keep some areas with the sharp corners, with the sharp edges. It gives to the sculpting, in my opinion, more strength. So it's not everything so relaxed and so less bad defined. So I like to keep some edges completely well defined. For example, here you can see here I can lift this part as an edge, but here I'm gonna try to start smoothing this part, but I'm gonna try to lift only this part. And this is why it's important to be combined both the smoothing brushes. In this case, with the smooth peaks, I can smooth this part, because here the muscle starts blending to this area, to this is the more defined part, and start blending with the rest of the leg. In this case, on the shoulder, start from here to here, start the blending, start fading out from here to here. So, and for example here, I'm gonna smooth this part and smooth this part. I don't smooth out everything, so I try to leave non-smooth parts here and there, so to try to get a good balance. this. For example, here I can smooth this but leave this part here. This, for example, I'm gonna smooth this, and here I'm gonna smooth only this part. Looks like the leg goes a little bit more here. And this part needs to be cut. Let's try to add. Let's try to add in some. I think I'm watching that I did hit something wrong. Okay, because here I need a kind of more something like this. Smooth valleys, you can see here we have here in this area we have something like this. We have something like this, more or less, where here this point is this part is this part, this is the 1, this is the 2, and this is the valley number 3, this part. Watching the image here, there is something like a fall, a skin fall, but here is like is more, instead of this it goes more something like here and like this. So we already have the number 3, it's okay, the number 1 point, it's okay, but we need to fill in this little gap here. This little gap, and now is something like this. We are looking for something more flat, not so not that depression that we have. So we, instead of try to, what I like was this my technique, we can grab, for example, the clay build-up and start filling this part. What I like to do is, with the smooth valleys, I can start smoothing the valley, and I'm gonna try to equilibrate or to level the two surfaces like this, just with the smooth brush. That's the reason why I always combine in the smooth peaks or smooth valleys. I never use the default smooth brush. Yeah, something like this. Smooth peaks. And now with the polishing, I'm gonna try to start polishing this part. Let's say this. This is the second session, number 2. Okay, so let's go with the head, with the face. I think could be the most difficult part. So before that, I'm gonna try to define this little marks that we have here. Let's see what is happening here. Something the same here with as we did before with the smooth valleys. The smooth valleys now, and I can start smoothing this part, adding more material. In this case, I'm gonna last this part like this. Smooth peaks, as I did before. Instead of straight smoothing the previous stroke, repeating the same stroke as before, if we made a stroke like this from here to here, instead of repeat the same distance with the smooth brush, trying to smooth more or less the half or a little bit more than half, but always leave one part without any smoothing. That's the reason why that I prefer. And here I think that it has something connected to here, or more or less connected to there. You can see here the same as was explaining before. I did something like this. What I do is smooth the beginning at the end, and I leave a little bit of in the center. The same here. I'm gonna create something like this. I'm gonna start smoothing only this part. Here let's go more something like this. It has a double mark here. Push this in a little bit. With the Alt key, we can push back a little bit that part. So let's go with the head. First, I'm gonna frame the head with the mane like this. I'm gonna carve a little bit more space inside here. The mane goes here, goes here. There is a separation line here. The same thing as before, smooth valleys, and it's start only smoothing the endings. Here I have one part this and the opposite. Beginning and the end, leave the middle part. Maybe I should have something more like this here. Remember that working with reliefs, as we are working always on the front view, this is very handy when you are using this move brush in combination with the Alt key. You can push him back or pull to the front with the Alt key. It's not necessary to rotate the bottle and start pulling or pushing the mesh. So for example here, if I'm just want to pull out a little bit only this part with the Alt key and pull in this, so I can start leveling the different parts of the mesh. This I use it a lot, the Alt key with the move brush. It's a very old shortcut. maybe my way of working it's a bit old, because I consider myself of old school old school ZBrush methods or workflows, because I started, I think 14 years ago using ZBrush, and the version I think it was the version 3.5, but today is a completely different program. So, and also I already have my workflows or my way of working, and even if they are always launching new tools or new process, I still be using the same, almost the same process as many years ago. Of course, some of the new releases or the new additions or the new tools, they improve a lot your workflow. For example, the booleans, or in this case this the move infinitive brush, it was a great addition. But they have launched a lot of new things, but being honest, I think that I am just using more or less the 10% of the new tool. My cat is destroying a chair. You have questions, or you have to say something about what I'm doing, or you need to ask something you missed? So go ahead and ask on the chat. I'm gonna save this. So okay, let's go now with I'm gonna use an insert brush. In this case, maybe I'm gonna use a cube. Why do I gonna use a cube? Because I'm gonna select the cubes, because as we are watching here on the face, as I said before, I always be thinking about the planes, and even more if you are making a relief. And what I'm watching here, observing the head, I am watching different. I'm trying to paint. Here I have a cube, something more like this. This is what I am seeing. Something like this. So I am watching different planes. This goes more like this into perspective. But I have one place, could be the forehead and the nose. The plane number 2 could be the front of the nose and the mouth. And we have there the plane number 3 will be the chin, and maybe this on the side of the face. So instead of using a sphere and start creating the planes, in this case I think it has more sense to start directly with a cube. So with the cube, I'm gonna drop it here. Split mask points, start rotating. Turn off the image. Let's start extruding into this. Push it back. Make it bigger. Not so wide. Like this. This is what we have. Remember that we on the previous day I create this box. This box is This is the first one, but I have it. I have the box the normals flipped, so I'm able to see it from the inside, and this is the maximum height that I can reach with the relief. I think that we were on the past week from this point to this point around 5 millimeters. Yeah, more from this point to this point. Yeah, for around 5 millimeters. We decide to make a 5 millimeter thick. Maybe it's too high, but so maybe I can push back a little bit the head. So trying to keep a good balance here. So it hasn't sense to has everything aligned here and suddenly have here the face. So I think it will be better to keep everything more or less at the same level. So there. So this is what I get. So I need to rotate this to match the lines. Let's grab the move infinitive, and this is one plane, another plane, another plane, and another plane. Should be. Let's select better now the default move brush. This is the chin. This is what I am doing. At the chin, the part of the chin is a little bit. It has a protrude, so it has more protrusion. I don't know how to pronounce this. It goes farther away from the surface. So let's pull out with the Alt key. Pull in here. This is the mouth. And okay, I'm gonna start pulling in this part, pulling out, pulling in, pulling out. The eyes, the forehead, like this, and we'll start getting this. Okay, let's control drag now to rebuild the mesh. Now we have a Dynamesh. Notice that I am working with a very low resolution mesh. I can start adding some polishing on the surface, and with the smooth peaks, let's try to reduce the vertex or the corners of the, like this. Here I have an overhang. What I'm gonna make is move brush, back face mask, like this. I'm gonna grab the main, pull it out from, this is one view, another view. Okay, it works. Let's come back here. This is the main, this line I'm putting here. Main, this should be here, this should be there. And let's start creating them. Let's start creating the mouth. I think we need to be working on a low resolution, but I think 20,000 polygons is a very low, quite low resolution. Let's add a little bit more. Instead of 32, let's put 88. So control and drag. Okay, we have 151,000, a little bit more polygons. Or maybe even a little bit less. Let's say 72. So now to start creating the mouth, what I'm gonna do is to start working with masks. This is the mouth from the front view. Here we have a plane, one plane, another plane, another plane, another plane. We have something. I'm watching the different planes. Here we have one, here we have little, number two, little, number three, 4, 5, and so on. But most important thing, I think that I need to create a border that defines the different level. This is the number one, this is the number two. For example, in this case, a good choice could be maybe the escape cloth. I can adding 1, 2, 3, 4. As we did before, you can see the alpha. The alpha is making something like this, extruding the surface with this shape. You can see with this is the alpha. This is what we are getting here, something like this and something like this. And we are looking for more something like this and something like this. Not so. We need to fill in this part. Again, smooth valleys. Smooth valleys and smooth peaks to define the lips. Let's grab now the ASK slash to start making the mouth. Here, here, and here. Strange without eyes. So I'm gonna start making the lips. The lips goes here, and now here I have a little gap here. Right. We should go here. Here I have another plane. I can start creating this plane. I'm pushing back a little bit this part. Almost, the mouth is almost blocked. Maybe I need to make a mask again, because I think that this part of the mouth needs to be a little bit more inside. The mouth is going to be very important to achieve well the expression. Hello. So again, I'm gonna create a lip here, and this definition I'm gonna try to mark. This is where the nose is, so I need to, and I think now mask curve will be a good choice. Double Alt to start creating something like this. Let's look like this. Maybe now I need more polygons, because when we start creating small details now as the nose, we need to be. Another brush that I like a lot is the Escape Clay Feel. It's like working with liquid clay or something, or at least is the feeling that I have when I'm working with this brush. Is I'm able to add very subtle transitions. This, let's create. You can see that it's very soft, quite soft, to start creating the eye cavity. When you are creating the eyes on any sculpt, the first step to take to start blocking the eyes or putting the eyes in place, it's to start making first the eye socket. You think about the skull, so the cavity of the eyes. After you can add the eye, the eyeball, the eye itself, or the pupils, or the eyelids, or the different parts of the eye. But in your stars, what you need to make is start blocking a face or blocking an animal head. For the first time, start thinking about the skull. So, as I did here, start creating the gap of the skull. Even if you are here watching the eye and the eyebrows here, but start first trying to match where the skull is, where the eye sockets are, better than start trying to sculpt the eyes directly. Like this. Always when we are creating a relief, it's like a mix between drawing and sculpting. So you are sculpting in perspective. For example, because I am not using the side view, you can see how weird looks from the side view, because it's like we are grabbing a lion head and we have smash it or or squeeze it to convert it into a relief. So what we are doing is the front view. We don't care about the side view. That's and for me, I think it's the most challenging part of making reliefs. So you need to read or to watch what you need to translate from the 3D object to a relief, trying to combine the theory of the 2D perspective with the volumes of an sculpture. We'll start getting the lion head. The chin, the chin looks like it's too white, maybe. Let's see what is happening here. Oops. There you go. So I was like this. Maybe it's going here. It's going here. That is more blended. The mane here to the face. Like this. I'm used to navigate, to rotate the model. When you are working on a Cintiq, or as I am doing, or you are using a regular tablet. So what I normally do is to use the right click from the pen and I press the right click and start rotating the model from here, instead of come back to the canvas and start rotating here. So I always am using the shortcut of the pen. I'm watching something strange on the mouth. Maybe it's because, yes, I'm watching it here. I should push this in a little bit. Now is the moment to start trying to sculpt the eye, to detail the eye, because this is it's very subtle. It's not, maybe it's more important the shadow that it creates, instead of the detail of the eye itself. This part, pull this in a little bit. Okay. Let's define more the eye. We are still on part of the process where the details are not very important. It's better to watch how the light reacts on the surface, and is giving to us the information about the planes and shadows. Maybe here I'm having more something like this. Where I can use the escape brush to start. Okay. Here the main is almost blended with the and here, let's see, here it's more here. Okay, let's go ahead and create this part of the, gonna create the mask, invert the mask, and let's start creating this. Like this, like this. It also has kind of like this. Control drag to remove. It's time now maybe to add more resolution. We are, let's say, 128. Oof, this is too much because we go above 1 million, so let's say 72. Yeah, 500,000. Yeah, we can smooth peaks. I need more smoothing here. And now from here, SK Cloud has some. This is where the planes are. One plane, another plane, and another plane. Start adding more material here. Move brush, back face mask to correct the fake perspective. Planes and more planes. Maybe the eyes are my eyes are too big. So again, if you have questions or you would like to see something different, as I said before on the beginning of the session, I have in mind to try to leave it as far as I can go for today. If I don't get it completely finished, I will try to sculpt it by my own on my free time to get it ready for the next live, to start learning more rendering techniques instead of follow sculpting the same model over and over again. So I'm gonna try to finish it by myself and get it ready for the next live session. Thanks to you, Arnaud. I'm glad that you are considering this live interesting. I think maybe you can learn more. You can watch it after the stream. You will be available on my channel, so you can start reviewing the live and going to the parts of the streaming that you consider more interesting, because as all of the sculpting sessions becomes very repetitive, because you are always not always, but you are always trying to, when you are using a specific technique, you are always using the same process. You are repeating the strokes, going here, going there, refining one part, refining another part, and you are not always changing different tools or different techniques during the sculpting session. So I think I'm gonna still see a strange the eye. I'm gonna try to move forward, maybe to the ears. Maybe this is the eye, something like this. I have found something here, because the lips goes here. And this part of the mane is closer to here. Let's create a mask here. Push this out. let's add the ears, for example. About the ears is not so important than the face. So for example here, let's grab an sphere, put it in place, because the planes are not so well defined as the head. On the head was very important. So split mass points. Of course, we always have planes. We already have. A plane here. We have two planes. We have like number 1 and number 2. So my ear is still completely round. What I can do to create the planes, what I normally do is to with escape polish, and there you go, we have the planes. To create different instances of the same mesh, we can grab the gizmo, Control key, and move. So at the same time we are moving the mesh, we are creating a copy. To rotate, let's zoom out this here, zoom out and put it on place. This will be there. I think, yeah, both are on the same level. Let's push this forward a little bit, like this. Yeah, it looks completely different with ears. Let's move brush, back face mask. Let's see how it looks like with the boolean. This is, I'm gonna turn this off. This is what we are doing. I believe I should maybe push this wider. Let's be underneath this. So this is what I'm doing. Select this, push this back, push this down. No, it's this top. You. And here, grabbing this tool. Okay, we can to make something different. Let's try. I always try to refresh my head as much as I can, because if you are focused on working on any area for a long time, maybe your ability of watching the different details will be lower and lower, because you start getting tired about what you are watching. So it's better to leave one part, start with a different part, and come back again to the previous part. I'm sure that then you will find more mistakes or more things to improve for. So let's go for the tail. Again, let's save it, keep it safe always. The files, and for the tail we have two choices. What I'm gonna do for the tail, I'm gonna select this. This is the negative. This is the tool that I'm using. You can see at the bottom of the list to create the boolean of all of the others subtool, because it is subtracting. So if I get into solo mode here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this. This is a brush that I use very often. It is the Curve Tube Snap, this brush. I'm going to draw following the the image behind. Yeah, that's a little bit smaller, like this. This is going to be the tail. The split mask points. Split mask points. Let's turn this on and let's push it forward. Let's see how it works. Okay, it works like it is in perspective. This part is more or less here, and I need to adjust this part following the tip of the tail, and I'm going to mask only this area, blur the mask, and I'm gonna push it back a little bit more, like this, pushing the inwards, and maybe, yeah, it is ready. But when we are working on with a relief, this is not possible. So it's not possible to get floating things. So everything should be connected to the back plate or to the back side. The way that I do to fix this, I'm gonna add more subdivision. I'm gonna make a dynamis. Maybe this amount of polygons, well, let's say a little bit less. Let's take that 88. Let's apply some polishing to get rid of the polygon marks. Alex Pascual is asking if I touch a lot the intensity of the brush. I never use the intensity of the brush. Well, I'm lying. So sometimes I try to touch the density of the brush, but I prefer to play with the intensity of the tip of the pen, just applying more strength or less, depending on the kind of a stroke I'm doing. I'm going to say it now in Spanish, no suelo tocar mucho la intensidad del pincel. A veces, muy poco, pero lo utilizo más lo que es la presión del lápiz. Cuando esculpo, aprieto más o menos dependiendo de la intensidad que busco, pero pocas veces estoy jugando, ajustando la intensidad del pincel. Gracias, Ricard. The future Arnaud is asking, a future session will be cool to see how to use the UV with the surface noise. Oh, of course, and also I have planned to not only to try to see the whole process. So start making from zero, from scratch, to creating our own texture to apply. So create the texture, the tileable texture, then how to apply that texture to a model. For example, a snake body or a ring or something. But starting from the texture creation, the tileable image or a seamless image. Okay, let's create this detail completely to the front. We can use two methods. For example, the fast way of do this, we can grab the move brush, make the brush as big as possible, like this. From the side view, as this is the front view, this is the side view. Now with the back face mask, I can start pushing back all the polygons, like this. And there you go. It's come very fast. So now it's completely connected to the front part. But if we are looking for more accurate finishing, I prefer to use this method. I'm gonna turn on the solo mode. Let's see the color of the poly group and turn it off the line. Going to select the front view, important first step, front view. Going to polygroups and now group front. So ZBrush is gonna group all the polygons which are facing to the camera. So now you can see, now we have two polygroups. And now what I can do is control click to mask the front polygons, and we can extrude this part. And also what we can do is more to get it more something like this, not a little shadow like this, because on the reliefs it's important, but it's better instead of having 90 degrees from the surface, it's better to get a little wider angle, subtle, maybe 100 and whatever degrees. So it works better to get something like this line completely straight walls. So that's the reason why I made this. So like this. As we have a dynamesh, control drag, now we have a new mesh. That we can do, let's create a move without the back face, and let's push this. And another thing about the reliefs, it's important, or this is what my customer are asking or are request. So it's not one thing that I say. So maybe it's a rule for everyone. So when you are creating a relief like this, it is something that I need to fix at this point. It's just I still need to fix it. What I'm gonna say now, for example, it's not good to have. This is the zero surface. The relief start growing till reaching the maximum 8, and now goes down till reaching again the surface. This is in my case what I got, what I already have now. It's too blocky. It's like a square. When we are making reliefs, it's better to start growing from the zero surface more like this till reaching the maximum 8, and start going down till here. It's more the ends where the reliefs match the flat surface. It's better to get a low high, and then relief start growing till reaching the maximum 8. So that's the reason why, for example, what I can do now, I'm gonna save first, save. What I can do is, coming back to the plugin, transpose master, I'm going to control click here, control invert the mask. What I do is, as I'm an old-fashioned ZBrush user, I'm a lover of the old transpose line. What I do is I drag the line, in this case from left to right. I press the Alt key, and now start bending. Oh, I think that we need to go a little bit more far away like this, and start bending like this. Going here, maybe I can start bending this. And from this view, I'm gonna do the same. No, maybe a little bit more this. And from this view, push this back a little bit like this. So this relief start growing from the minimum height to the maximum height, step by step. So what I'm gonna do is, I already have the topological feature. I'm gonna push out a little bit more detail. In this case, it's not a good choice to be working with the move infinitive, because you can notice now that I am touching this point, but I am affecting the back part as well. So I don't only want to move this part. Move topological to push this back. So now it starts growing much better than before. Come back to plugin, Okay, let's save it. Yeah. Okay, now from this point is let's start refining elements, and I'm gonna leave this file as a master file, and I just to start watching different things, because I have seen here that it has an arrow here, but I'm gonna leave this for the I'm gonna make it by my own instead of spending time now creating an arrow. I'm gonna fill this gap. I'm going to use, for example, a sphere, insert primitives. Let's grab the sphere, put it here, split mask point. You can see that I always work with many subtools because I always try to split everything into individual subtools, because it allows me to make more adjustments instead of be working with the same mesh. So like this, push this right, and with the move, let's fill in this gap. Control drag to, and let's start filling in this gap here. And for example, let's go to start merging. This is going to be the master file, where I have all the subtools individually as a single element, and now we are going to start deciding which one I need to start welding them together. So I start making booleans between some of the subtool, not about to start making boolean for everyone, for each subtool, but at the beginning I think I'm going to merge. I'm gonna create a boolean to start getting one single mesh for the arm. I can paint here. I'm gonna merge the arm, the body, and this part of the leg. I'm gonna leave this as an individual subtool yet, and I'm gonna leave the rear front leg also as an individual leg. So I'm gonna make I'm gonna weld, or maybe on the tail as well. So I'm gonna grab the tail, this part of the leg, the body, and this leg. I'm gonna create a boolean. I'm gonna create a one single mesh with a dynamesh. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unhide the rest. I'm gonna grab this leg, this part of the tail, and the body. Where are you? Here. I'm going to create a merge visible. And what ZBrush does is it's gonna create a new tool. It's here. This is what I have. And this is going to be the start file of relief. This is going to be a new file. This is the relief number 3, and I keep the original with all of the parts safe in a safe place. If for future possible changes from the client, or if I decide to use or to try to modify the relief because I don't like it, I still can be working with individual parts. Alex Pascual is asking, what is the criteria I have to join or to weld or to merge one subtool from the others? For example, the criteria that I follow is, if I'm gonna finally save this, what I can see is the place when one subtool reaches to the other. For example, here this part needs to be faded. We can see, you can watch it here. No, I can paint now. Here you can see here at this part we have here the line, the border between the two subtools, and I need to smooth this part, this transition. So that's the reason why I should merge this subtool with this subtool. The same thing here. The same thing here, for example, at the rear part of the body, we have this. I should smooth out this area, and of course I need to smooth this. But I leave this leg, as I need to get this leg, as because if the leg is in front of the body, it's better to leave it as a single subtool, because we have a better defined transition between one part and the other part. That's the reason why. So I'm gonna this is the original. I'm gonna grab this as well. Append this. This is the negative. And what I do now is to convert this into one single dynamis. And what I do is, when I start creating, yes, Alex Pascual is saying es solo para marcar más los edges después. Sí, it's better to leave the necessary subtool unwell or with not boolean, because I have cleaner separation between the edges, entre los bordes. For example, here, the border between the front head and the rear hand, the front arm and the rear arm. For example, the border between the mane and the body. I should merge the mane with the head because I need to smooth the transition between the two parts. But I can leave the mane as a separate subtool because here I have a very well defined edge. And now what I do is convert everything into the final dynamis. And what I do is, I'm always using this plugin. When I'm working in process, I'm using the default dynamis setting, this dynamis. When I can start playing with the resolution, depending on if I need more or less, because I am the stage when I am just blocking the different forms and creating the planes, but not adding too much detail. But at the point that we are now, I'm gonna start making the final dynamis, I go directly to this plugin. I go to the dynamis utility plugin. I don't use this plugin because with this plugin is the way to control the amount of polygons that we are looking for. For example, if we are gonna start creating details, 1.5 million, I think it's enough to start creating details. For me, it's not going to be necessary to create more dense mesh. Maybe 2 millions or 2 and a little millions, but 1.5 millions, it's okay. So what I do is I turn this off, put the blur to 0 because I don't want any blurring on the new mesh, and I click on this button. And ZBrush start making calculations, and what it does is we have like a triangle. We have with 3 vertex. One of the vertex is the resolution. Here we have the resolution. Another vertex is the poly count that we have here and we have here. This is the poly count. And the third vertex is the size of the model. And this part is very important for the dynamis. This is the dynamis settings. So the size is fixed. We can't change the size because we decide at the beginning of the process how big this model should be. We know how many polygons we want to reach. As I said before, maybe 1.5 it's okay for start creating well-defined forms and details. And the value that we are looking for and we need to know is the resolution. So what this plugin does is look at the plugin is looking at the size, is looking at the amount of polygons we have set here, and it gives to us the exact resolution for these two volumes. That's the reason why I prefer to use this plugin instead of playing with the resolution here, because for example, if I decide to add 1.1028 and it's giving to me more than expected, I need to redo and try it again. Or if I have less than expected, I need to redo and start again. So it's a waste of time at the end. So that's the reason why I prefer to use the Dynamics utility. So now I have 1.5 millions. The right resolution for the size that I have for the amount of polygons is, in this case, it's very important to remark this. In this case, is 99 resolution, and now we have a resolution, a new mesh. So what I do is smooth valleys. Start smoothing the transitions. I leave the rest as it is. I don't smooth this part because it's good to have this well-defined transition between the two parts of the body, and the same here. From here to here, for example, and leave the rest as it is. And the same here. In this case, maybe with the S-clay fill. And leave, for example, I don't smooth this transition, I don't smooth this transition, I don't smooth this transition. What I can do now is with the SK slash, if necessary, in some areas, I can start, let's turn on I can start defining a little bit better some parts like this. And start adding some details where necessary. Like this here. And from this point we're going to start adding more detail. Yes, Jonathan is asking if I can share as a download my UI and Julie brushes. Yes, at the end of the stream, I have planned. I'm gonna launch as soon as I can a Patreon website, a Patreon site where there I'm gonna share my brushes, my custom brushes I have here. I have these brushes are created by myself. Encaje means it's a keys for assembling, and this is more related for figures instead of jewelry design. But I have the cutters and the pave, to make pavés and cutters, and also these hems and diamonds. You can download it for free on the net. You're looking for it. I think that you are gonna find it on the internet. But I'm gonna add resources on my Patreon website. As soon as I can, I will launch it. Maybe this month. And there I'm gonna share with you brushes, base meshes, or small videos with tips and with advices about the jewelry design. I'm gonna be able to share with you as well keyshot materials, keyshot presets to render your designs, and a bunch of different resources. And of course my UI, if you like it. Let's define a little bit more the finger. So we'll put all of this stuff on my Patreon. this, and now is the moment to start start making details and details. Okay, this is going to be my work for future sessions. I don't want to bother you all the time repeating and repeating the same thing. So I'm gonna create the final volume for the main and the head to start thinking to make different things, or to end. Maybe I should have. But now, for example, I'm gonna adjust my intensity to try to apply less intensity here on my strokes. Okay, let's grab the main. This is the main is here. The pen, main, and this is the head. Pen, the head. I'm gonna do is this is the main, this is the head. This merge them down, merge down. Okay, repeating the same as before. Dynamesh. Now the Dynamesh is ready. So now I can, for example, use this clay to start merging these parts together. So now I start merging things, or blending things, or smooth valleys. And maybe like this, and I can start. And also maybe I'm gonna merge the ears as well. Let's grab the ears, pen, ears, merge them down. Dynamesh. Okay, ready. So should be here. Try to refine. Maybe I should smooth this transition more between the head and the main, and leave this as it is. So yeah. Okay, so from this point it's a matter to start refining and watching what is wrong. Maybe what I do is changing this to basic material, and I start playing with the light, how to see how it reacts the volumes with the light compare with the reference. Maybe make a quick render. Yeah, I think I should. And from this point I'm watching different things. For example, what I'm watching now, that I need a new plane here for this part of the main, which is very important. Like this is the ear, goes there. The eye goes here. fill in this gap a little bit. Yeah, I should start defining shapes, and for example I have the main is very interesting combination of cuts and planes. Looks like a combination of hard surface and organic shapes. Maybe now I need more intensity. I like first one method that I use is that I like to use the one finishing that I like is with the H, with the H polish with the Alt key. You can see you're gonna start just like adding. Let's grab more intensity. You can see how it works. It looks like at the same time you are polishing the surface, you are creating planes. This is very, you can see how it works like this. Maybe more subtle here. This is the H polish with the Alt key pressed. So I'm able to create this kind of clay looking finishing like this. Just start breaking the surface, starting from a more relaxed surface with the softer transitions to a harder transitions, more defined like this. For example, look at here, or you can create this, maybe bigger size for the brush. This is a very cool result that you can achieve with the H polish. Maybe I should push this in. Another feature that I like to use, and it has sense here, is the AQ curve. I don't know if you already know it. AQ curve. You can find it here on brush settings. You should go, let me remember, I'm not sure, on curve. Yeah, there you go, here, AQ curve. AQ curve. This is one feature that I like, is the with combination with the move brush. You can, I'm gonna show you the differences. For example, here with the move brush you can move it by default, but you turn on the AQ curve, you are gonna be able to start making corners like this. The end of the movement is gonna be a point, a sharp edge. You can do this with the default move brush, and you can get this with the AQ curve. And start breaking curves and start breaking forms. It's very useful. For example, here. I can grab this point with the move brush, with polishing. I can start creating a corner there. Or I can grab this point again. Let's put this more strength here. And with the move and AQ curve, I can create this little corner we have here. So we have 1, 2, 3 lines with different angles. Combined with the pinch brush, we can start pinching this. 1, 2, and 3. We have this. With the pinch brush, maybe we can make this kind of a little bit more narrow, like this, and we can start defining more the main edge, breaking here this curve into more. And start adding and adding details and details and details. For example, if you are looking for this kind of sculptural finishing or handmade finishing, what you can do is, what I do is, with the clay build-up, start adding lines, for example, like this. And now with the edge polish, I start flattening the surface, but leaving some marks on the surface. Like this. For example, here as well. Lines and polishing. Okay, same here. Like this, edge polish. With random movements. Clay build up and but I prefer to don't leave the strokes from the clay build up. I prefer to give an end touch always with the edge polish. Okay, so I'm gonna start thinking about to finish. I hope today's session has been interested for you. And as I said before, on the next live, I'm gonna try to create a cool render of this design. You are welcome. You are welcome. Thanks to you for watching me here working. Hope has been enough interesting for you, and I invite to all of you to be watching my future streams. I will try to be improving my streamings, or at least to try to make them more and more interesting, with different techniques, with different different way of working, different designs, and if you like it, of course, don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and leave your comments, suggestions, opinion, I don't know, whatever you want. I try to ask to all of them as much as I can, but I try to ask to all of you. At the end of the video, you will see a compilation of all the links from my websites, my Facebook page, my Instagram, my Patreon my future Patreon page. So I would like to upload interesting content. And for the ones who speak English, or so I hope that my English is good enough, at least for to understand what I'm saying. Okay, thanks to you. I really appreciate that you are here, and hope that I can help you with my explanation on techniques. Let's push this back. As you can see how weird the lion looks from the side. Maybe we can fix this view if necessary. This from this view looks quite weird. Let's apply some edge polishing here with the Alt key to grab a little light point here. So there you go. Again, that's I did before. Marks and lines and edge polish. Let's grab this and this. Subtle lines. This. Lines and polishing. Okay, let's save it. This is my third version. This is my gonna be maybe the last one, the one that I'm gonna use for rendering. Okay, so welcome again to be here. So I will try to finish by myself in my free time to try or to follow making we did today for the start welding all the rest of the subtools. I'm gonna create this little arrow that it has here. And I'm gonna also try, I think I'm gonna put this kind of background from the original sculpture with the rock and with the castle on the top. And we'll try to leave it, finish it for the next session where we are gonna send it to Keyshot. We are gonna start creating the final render. Okay, I'm gonna stop watching it because if not, I'm gonna keep continuing touching and touching over and over again for the whole day. So okay, so thanks to be here again. I will leave you at the end of the presentation all of my links of my Facebook page, my Instagram, my Arstation page if you would like to visit them. Also there you will get you will find my Patreon page, my future Patreon page, where there I'm going to share with you different resources, brushes, keyshot materials, custom interfaces, short tips, videos and explanations. And of course, if subscribe if you like my work and my videos. Leave your comments with your questions or suggestions for future streamings and your real opinion. It will help to me a lot to know what I'm doing, if I'm doing well. So if I try to create any specific content for a video or for my Patreon page for a kind of process of a kind of finishings, I don't know. And again, thank you for watching me here, and stay tuned for my next session. Bye.